What's up, nerds? How's everybody doing today? Good? Welcome to stream. I was gonna put crazy lighting on, but whatever. I think we lost the moment. Right? Yeah, we lost the moment. No, we didn't. We didn't lose the moment. We didn't lose the moment. We didn't lose it, don't worry. Although the lighting's not as intense right now. Why am I so fucking short today? Did I move my camera? What am I doing with my life? All right, calm down. Hey guys, what's up? How's everybody doing today? Oh my goodness, what a wonderful start to stream. Crazy Moose coming in with the membership. Very cool. Very cool. How's everybody doing? So before we start, I do want to talk about one thing. Let me make sure I have the thing that I need. Okay, I'm going to post. So for folks that are... So here's the deal for today. The deal for the day is we are going to be doing a little bit of a call-in show. A little bit of a call-in show, not for a crazy long time. We're going to go till around 7. And then at 7, I am going to redirect our stream to my other YouTube channel, which is the Unbalanced Encounters podcast channel. And we are going to have a live Q&A with the cast of my podcast, Unbalanced Encounters. So that's the plan for the day. And I'm going to change the description of the stream a little bit. I'm going to add a link to it. Give me 1 second. And this link... I think the link is still working. If it's not, I apologize. But here. So this link is how you submit questions if you want to ask questions about my podcast to me or to the other players in the game that I play in. If you refresh the stream, it should be the thing now. Why am I so disheveled today? I don't know. What's up? What's up? Come on, guy. I think this stream is ideally going to be not very spoily, because I think there's a lot of people that are not caught up. So, you know, don't worry too much. Game Rose, what's up? Fergal, what's up? What's up, Philip, aka Baba? Dragoness, how's it going? Choir of Calamity is the name of GM Workshop's campaign, which is the game that I play in on Wednesday nights. Kelv, how's it going, buddy? What's wrong with my light? Maybe, I think I see what it is. Okay. It's like not that big a difference, but it's a little bit of a difference. All right, whatever. You wanted to ask if there was a link for the Sunday homebrew review in the Discord. I don't know if there is yet. I don't think I made one yet. Did I not make one yet? I'll post it. Wait. There's a link for tomorrow's stream. It's not in the Discord. Jesus Christ. Tomorrow's the 30th, right? Yeah. Yeah. There's a link for it. Okay. Let's get started. You're imagining a crossover between Unbalanced Encounters and Choir of Calamity. The universes are too divergent, but it's a fun idea. I don't think it would happen. Not in the weekly schedule. There's only up to today here. There is a link. Where's the link? One second. All right. Well, I posted it somewhere before here. I'll repost it. I'll repost it. Give me 1 second. I'll do it again. But it's out there. I know it's been out there because there's a bunch of submissions. Okay. Here it is. Oh, that's probably why there's not a lot of submissions because I didn't fucking post it anywhere. All right, well, here it is. I have 30-some submissions. All right, there's the link there. I'll post it in the Discord right now, though. That's my B. I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing a stream on tomorrow or not. Here, I'll post it. I'll do two things. I'll post it, and then we'll start. I'm so sorry, guys. Here. 1 second. Submit homebrew for Sunday's review. Okay, now it's also in the video details of this video, and then I will post it in weekly schedule right now. What's the date tomorrow? The July 30th. Oh, this is riveting streaming, isn't it? 7 p.m. EST. Okay. We're gonna start now. I'm so sorry. There you go. It's up in the weekly schedule. It's up in the. It's up in most of the places. Here, I'll put it one last place. Homebrew submission form for Sunday. I can't believe I didn't post it earlier. I must have just posted it on stream descriptions. Okay. Now we're ready to start. Hello, friends. Hi. How's it going? How do you call in? I haven't opened the room yet, so you can't call in yet. I'll tell you how in 1 second. Thank you, Azalis, for the 5. Evening, everybody. Cinder, thanks so much for being for a bunch of feedback the other night. I finished editing, and I'm very happy with it now, as is the other half. Cool, very exciting. So, here's how you come on stream. If you are in my Discord, there is a section called streaming. I'm about to open. What's not a link? It's not a link. I don't know what you're talking about. But basically, you join into the Discord. There's a channel called Stream Waiting Room. You're not going to be able to see it yet because I'm about to open it. And then when I do open it, you just join that room, and then you are in the line. And then I pull you in one at a time. And that's it. That's how you do it. Ready? Set. Go. You can go to Stream Waiting Room now. Why is it not? 1 second. Why is everything not working? No, I don't want to be in the stream waiting room. Get out of here. Cinder, you got me to write homebrew after wanting to do it for so long, still learning the ropes, but still have a lot of fun being nerdy. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Why isn't this working? What is happening here? Oh, it is working. Okay, Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. All right, stream waiting room is working. So just join the stream waiting rooms area and you will be in the queue. Just to remind you guys, we are going to go till around 7 today. We are going to be going to around 7 today. Thank you again, Snotty Man. Very kind, very kind. I appreciate every single one of those, Czar. No, I learned that recently. I think it was you or somebody else donated 50. And I was like, holy shit, 50? And they're like, that's just $5, man. Don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I won't worry about it then. All right, we're going to start by pulling in Sava. So first is going to be Sarva, and then is going to be name. And if you want to follow the stream order of operations and you want to see where you are, if you go into the stream events channel, there's like a little list at the bottom. All right, Sarva, I'm about to pull you in. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Going fine. Calling again from Czech Republic.
Welcome.
No one has checked where that is yet.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
Right, so today I'm calling. Someone is saying me my mic is checky. I don't know how to do that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Good?
You're good.
All right. I'm calling. Full disclosure, it's not like a pure DnD thing, but I think it's completely applicable to DnD. But
Sure.
I'm asking more of a writer's perspective.
Yeah, sure.
Ideas on like genuinely horrifying undead monsters.
Ideas on horrifying monsters?
Undead monsters. I mean, it could be any monster. It could be like adapted for undead, but
in my opinion, the best way to make monsters horrifying is to make them a little bit off feeling. And I think because monsters are so common, like everybody knows what a zombie is, everybody knows what a vampire is. I think the way to make those things scary is to incorporate a new element that isn't expected. So I will give you an example that I did not make up. I experienced this in a game and it was really cool. And it was, there were undead creatures in this sort of, evergreen winter forest, undead people, zombies. And when part of them, when they got cut or anything like that, instead of bleeding, they would, like, pine needles would pour out of them, or like leaves would pour out of them. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, those aren't gross, like pine needles aren't gross, but it's like unexpected in a way that just adds an element of unnervousness to it. So that would be my main thing, is if you're going to be like seeing the monster and facing it, you're going to want to throw things in that are unusual and make the players go like, what? Or the reader go like, what? The bigger
I've got like things, for example, I have like reskinned banshees. That banshees are not really humanoid. They're more like spectral blobs covered in human mouths, just screaming in perpetual agony.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid.
So, but yeah, I'm like talking pretty high power levels. So I've been like kind of struggling with like coming up things, because how do you make like, I would like appropriate it for like maybe like 11th level parties. How do you make someone who is like equivalent to an 11th level character actually afraid?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think D&D is well designed for high level play and horror. Because the only way you can really express horror to a high level character is through sheer force or or something that is like the unknown, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm thinking D&D horror, I always remember the False Hydra story. Where I have like
so like that would be the main thing I would say, is like the unknown, making players face things where they don't know what's going on. That's probably the best way to make them feel horror once they're past like level 5. Because at the end of the day, D&D is about being a superhero in a medieval fantasy world. So it's hard to make that scary if you can punch a thing. Those are my thoughts.
Fair enough.
All right.
I'm gonna go back and read what chat said in the meantime. So thank you. I'm leaving before you can kick me.
Guys, I forgot to put my curtain up, and the sun is gonna fuck my. It's so bright. Oh my god. Should I put the curtain up, or should I just not worry about it? Hey, Kaz, what's up, dude? I can't call, so should I ever worry about a camp? First of all, thank you. This is fine for the 5. I can't call, so should I ever worry about a campaign being too long? Also, what would you recommend at level 20 for a level 22 party as the boss fight? That's a two-parter. The first thing I'll say is I think that a campaign is only too long if the players are getting tired of playing in it and the dungeon master is getting tired of playing in it. I have played in campaigns that needed to end early because people weren't feeling them, and I have played in campaigns that are still ongoing and will probably be forever ongoing because the plot is almost secondary to the fun of just playing with our friends. So I don't think there is I think a campaign can only be too long if people are getting tired of it. What would I recommend for a level 22 member party as a boss fight? I don't really know. Level 20 is sort of those weird places where you're sort of not paying attention to numbers anymore. You're paying more attention to action economy. If I was having a 2-person encounter and it was a final encounter, it probably would not be a boss fight like people standing in a room. I would probably make it more goal-oriented, like you have to stop the train from crashing through the city or something like that. I probably wouldn't just make it a fight because I think a lot of the dynamic nature of the fights in D&D come from there being a lot of players on the board, especially at level 20. It's not, I don't know. I don't know if it would be a lot of fun, and I have no idea how I would balance it if it was just people standing in a room and it's just a couple of them. I'd make it more dynamic. Goal-oriented fight. Yeah, that's exactly. All right, next we're going to pull in Name, and then we're going to pull in the Tax Collector. Hey, Name, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you today?
Good question.
Yeah, should I put my blinds up? Is this shocking amount of light hitting my face an issue?
I mean, I see you fine.
You're too kind.
I was going to ask, since I'm making a subclass of a full caster, it's a druid, I wanted to know how much of my stuff should be custom, considering the fact that I've been making all these custom spells. Like, meaning the spell list.
Here's what I would say. So let me just clarify your question for people that don't know what's going on. Name has made a long list of custom spells that all sort of sit in sort of alternative schools of magic. That are not really schools of magic. They're like pillars of magic. And if you're making a custom subclass and it's going to fit into one of those pillars, then I think you should definitely build them around incorporating those spells, or at the very least put a couple of those spells on their spell list. I would the only reason why I wouldn't do that would be if you have other spells that are just regular spells that also fit the spell list well. Like, the goal of the spell list should be to do what it normally does, which is like help fill out the vibe and make it be the thing it needs to be. And if you think you can do that better with the custom spells, you should do it. I acknowledge the issue as in like it's just making a lot of reading. It's like, here's a whole custom subclass, and if you want to use it, here's all 3 custom spells for it. But I don't think that's actually an issue for people wanting to use homebrew. That's more of an issue that, like, for me when I'm making a show reading homebrew.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider that an issue in normal life situations.
Okay. I have included the spells in the document. I'm not that stupid.
No. I wasn't even saying that. Like, I knew that. I just meant
right.
Like I would use the spells in it if it makes sense.
Okay.
The only reason not to would be is if other spells made more sense.
Okay. That's it.
Cool. Thank you, buddy. Nice to see you.
Have a good one.
Bye. Kelf, member for 2 months. Welcome back to the club. Wish I could come chat, but sadly work till 9. Have fun, Cinder. Also, give undead the ability to blind and deafen by grappling. Oh, that's a good idea. Saraz, listen to that idea. It's kind of fun sitting here with a different username from the Discord without y'all realizing, oh yeah, you guys are the Shadowmancers. All right, next is the Tax Collector, and then Camellia. Hello, Tax Collector. How's it going?
Yeah, it's good.
Welcome. What can I do for you today, bud?
So, my character is supposed to kind of be like this, I guess you could say the older brother of the group, you know, the mature one, I guess you could say. And
Sure.
My question is, how do I do that without, like, seemingly stomping on everyone's fun? You know?
Well, does everyone want you to play that character?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, when you're talking as people, not in character, they're like, we want you to be the older brother that tries to get us in line, and we want to be the folks that kind of aren't in line?
Yeah, that's usually how we do it, yeah. But,
And
we usually have one person that does make a character like that, and this is the first time I was the one.
yeah,
chosen to do
so what happens when you try to get them in line? Is it not fun?
Well, the problem is, like, how do I word this? So say they're maybe being a little too cruel in interrogation or something. I'm trying to reel them back in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
problem is, like, how do I do that without just seeming like I'm trying to rain on their parade?
But it sounds like you've built a character around doing exactly that, and they are okay with that. Because it's not really trying to rain on their parade. If their parade is doing something genuinely wrong, you're trying to guide them towards being good. And if the players said that they're down, then it sounds like they're down. So then I would just do it.
All right.
Like, I wouldn't make it there's also, like, levels to it, right? Like, if they're trying to steal, a magic item from the magic shop, maybe you have your character, you sort of play it like your character didn't really notice what they did, so it's not the biggest deal. But if they're trying to, like, kill a person or torture them, then why wouldn't you immediately stop them as if it's very serious, and definitely rain on their parade, because their parade's fucked up.
Yeah, I kind of
It sounds like you built a character that's supposed to do that.
He's an excommunicated paladin that's, like, trying to still be good despite being kicked out.
Yeah, so it sounds like it fits the character, but more importantly, it's not like if that's what the players said and everybody likes that idea, then you should just do that. And if it becomes really confrontational in character, then as a player, you kind of have to be like, hey guys, we talked about this. Like, I don't want to play this character in a way where every time you guys do something fucked up, we fight. So, like, if that's going to be the case, then I'm also going to make a fucked up character. You know?
Okay.
Like, it sounds like everybody's down. I think characters that have conflict and confrontational aspects to themselves are wonderful, so long as the players are all down.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to worry about that much.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. I need to start writing down my questions.
It's all right. We all can learn a little bit. We all can learn a little from the Dear Sovereign. All right, man. Thank you for the call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was the Tax Collector. Next is Camellia Rose, and then K-Side. Also, folks, if you want to submit questions for my podcast thing, which is what we're going to start doing at 7, which is submitting questions not just to me, but to the Dungeon Master and other players of my podcast, you can click the link below. You can also submit homebrew for the Sunday Homebrew Review Show, also in the link below. Hello, Camellia. How's it going? Hello. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Is going all right. So,
What can I do for you today?
similar deal to last time. I've got 4 questions. Pick a number 1 through 4.
3. I'm always going to pick 3.
Yeah. All right. When should I introduce the BBEG?
It depends on the pace of the game you want to play and how important you want that BBEG to be, I think. So
All
like,
right.
for example, if you're running a game that you think is not going to last more than 10 sessions, they should probably be, if not meeting the BBEG, seeing the effects of the BBEG immediately. If you're doing sort of a more sprawling campaign, then I don't think they need to meet the BBEG for a while necessarily. It sort of depends on how big and how distant you want them to be. It can be really advantageous to have them either, if not meet the BBEG, see the BBEG or their entourage and see what they're up to sort of early on in the campaign in a way where the players aren't really in a position to stop them. Maybe like if it's an evil emperor watching their army, their legion march through a village or something like that. Like that can be good for just vibe. Really kind of just depends on how much you want their BBEG to quickly be a person or to sort of be an entity.
All right.
And how much time you have.
That is true. All right. Really helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
All
You're
right.
great.
You are great. Click. All right, next is K-Side and then Lord Grimm. As soon as the compliments come out, we got to start hanging up on people. K-Side! What's up? How's it going? Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to let me come in. I'm a newer follower, and from the little bit that I've seen, I see that you get a lot of good insight on not just etiquette, but also intelligence on builds. So my question is pertaining, my table is kind enough to give me a break on our next session, and I actually get to be a player. They're going to be running a heist at level 12.
That's a lot.
I've never ran
Level
a heist.
12. That's fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I've never ran a heist. I've never been in a heist, and we're trying to be diverse in our party makeup. So they actually are letting me be the rogue in the group, and I'm having a hard time picking the right subclass. I'm having a hard time picking the right build flavor. I don't know if I need to go for Nova damage or if I need to try and be a diverse skill monkey. I was just wondering if you had a couple.
I'm gonna ask you. Yeah, I have thoughts immediately. I want to ask you a question before we talk about this too much. You don't know what is needed for the game, but what do you? If you got to pick, like, what would be the most fun?
Ooh, that is a good question. I mean, I see good points in being that Nova blaster, and I see good points in being the diverse skill monkey. I think both are fun, and the theme for it is going to be like a high society gala, and we're going to be stealing something.
Okay, so I'm going to point you in the direction of... I think I'm going to point you in a couple different directions here. I don't know if you've tried the Soul Knife at all yet, but the Soul Knife is a really, really diverse and good rogue. They essentially have, like, mini Battlemaster maneuvers, but that can be used to, like, enhance skill checks across the board, do a bunch of weird little psychic things, but... What's particularly good about the Soul Knife, especially if you're doing like a high society kind of thing, is they can choose for their weapons to be these psychic daggers that they can summon, so they like leave no mark. So there you can sort of fuck around with like doing weird assassin type things where a body will just fall and people, like, if nobody sees you kill the guy, there's no injuries. It's just like a dead body now, which could be fun to play around with. It's also just they have cool powers. They're just legitimately, like, fun to mess around with. You're going to be level 12, you said?
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? Go 9 levels of Rogue.
Please.
Go 9 levels of Rogue and 3 levels of something else. That's something... Because 9 is going to get you to your second subclass feature. But if you take those 3 levels of something else, you have a lot of space to do some weird stuff. You could go Echo Knight... And then you have like a little double of yourself you can make, a weird little shadow person. You could go Gloomstalker Ranger and just be Batman. You are invisible. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, that might be what I would do. 3 levels of Gloomstalker, 9 levels of Rogue. That's a lot of fun. I would think about that if I were you.
That is a really good idea, because I was having a hard time trying to justify a multi-class, because that extra ability score feat at level 12 is just so enticing. But
I mean, think about it like this. Think about it like this.
Really
Here's the question. Here's the question. You have to ask yourself this. What is more important? And there isn't a right answer here. What's more important? Being generally better at the thing you do the most, which is going to be probably dex type stuff, I imagine, for you, or having a new ability. In some places, having that new ability is not going to be better, but in some places, it definitely is. And I think that's the question to think about. And the reason why I say Gloomstalker Ranger is because they are very front-heavy in terms of what they get. They get so many good things at level 3. They get an ambush attack. They're invisible to creatures that use dark vision, which is just most creatures. They get a bonus to their initiative, and they have a little bit of spell casting. So there's like a lot of stuff tied into it. Also, if you're using optional player, if you're using the optional class features from Tasha's, that's going to get you a 3rd expertise. So you're going to have a bunch of expertise, which is very nice.
That's really helpful. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude, welcome to the show. Super happy to have new folk in. High five forever. I will tell you that there is a little thing that I do that is not super obvious on my other things, but if you stick around the live streams for a while, where if anyone attempts to give me compliments, I hang up on them. So you didn't do that, and I appreciate that. But but just so you know, if you watch this stream, I'm gonna start hanging up on people eventually, and I don't want you to think I'm rude. Anyway, have a good one. You're cool. Welcome. Bye. Click. Hung up. Dunzo. Wait, I have some super chats I need to read. I do read the super chats. I do take the time. Okay, let's see. Azella said, I can't call in, but magic item idea. Uncommon silver infused weapons that have advantage against monsters like werewolves. That's, I mean, the only thing I would say there is that's not that different than a silvered weapon as is. Most silvered weapons essentially do double damage. This would just be a super silvered weapon. I think that's a cool idea. I would probably not make it the silvered that made it that, though, because I feel like silvered is all about doing more damage, not about like guiding you to hit harder. And guiding your strike is sort of advantage. So I would probably go with more of like a magical enchantment than the material being the thing there. But it's a cool idea. Creepy Crayon, thank you for the 10. I am running a game that centers around animals like sort of Golden Compass. How should I manage actions and stats for these creatures? They hold the same life as the characters, so if one dies, they both die. Then they should probably share hit points. They should probably share a hit point pool. Yeah. It is going to make your characters a lot more vulnerable in that circumstance, because if the monster has their pet has a really low AC, then people could just target their pet. So if you're going to be running a game like that, I think actually the way to do it is you either have to make it so the pets just are not targetable, and that's not going to be a part of the mechanics, or you're going to need to pretty dramatically figure out why you're going to need an in-game reason for everyone to not just target each other's pets instead of each other. Because if I'm fighting a knight and he has a weasel, and that weasel is also him, I'm just going to shoot arrows at the weasel. Why would I ever shoot them at the knight? And that's going to be a thing that the monsters would do, but it's also going to be a thing that the players will do. So you got to be careful with that. It's an interesting idea, but it is one of those ideas that it makes me go, I don't know if this is the move for D&D, unless you're being very specific with how you build out those mechanics to compensate for that. I would either make the monsters not targetable, sort of like how in the Golden Compass, people don't generally attack each other's pets. Like, the pets will fight each other, but people won't attack them. Well, they do eventually, but you know what I mean. Or yeah, maybe the pets share, or the pets actually share everything. They are, because they're you. So they have the same hit points, not attack rolls. They have the same hit points, AC, saving throws, everything. Just make it literally the same. That would be the other thing I would do. All right, let's pull in somebody else. Next up is Lord Grimm. If you are interested, if you're watching and you want to join, you can either super chat and ask me a question, or you can do this information here and come on the show. Lord Grimm, hello, hello, hello.
Well, hello.
How's it going, bud?
It's going good. I was just wondering, so I'm doing a game, and I was wondering how to make like the final battle feel more like surprising and exciting.
Okay. Do you mean in the context of in general, or do you have a specific vibe that you've been using that you're trying to step away from?
I've kind of been using a lot of traps, so I'm more wanting like a difficult battle that's just like almost like an entire war that they have to get through to get to the bad guy.
So I would probably build it sort of like a dungeon, except instead of there being rooms, there's like sections of the battle that they have to get through, and maybe there's different things they have to accomplish to get through them. So it's sort of like a set of challenges. Some of them might include fighting, but some of them might not. And then the thing that I would say to make it really epic is to give them a chance to like have the path they take through the battle like dramatically impact what happens in the battle. You know, like if they decide to run through with the front lines, maybe they have the ability, maybe it starts with like a little encounter with some of the frontline leaders and it allows their front lines to move forward. Or maybe if they decide to like fly over on an ornithopter, they can deal with the siege weapons, but the front lines are still sort of bounced. I mean, if you're trying to make it like big and complicated, there's a lot of paths you can go. If you don't want to get that complicated, the main thing that I would say is make it cinematic and try to make it dynamic. Try to make things change as they are fighting. So it's not just sort of like a bunch of people fighting in a room. Movement can be a big part of that. Like, you know, fighting, having the fight move and them sort of weaving through it. Those are my thoughts. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
There's a
That makes
book
sense.
called Strongholds and Followers that has a whole huge section on like large scale combat. That is, if you're interested in doing that in general, worth checking out. But the other thing is, if you're not, you sort of, I think, have to commit to like, I am going to use large scale combat and the players are going to be a part of it, or we're just going to completely hand wave it and I'm just going to super focus in on the players amidst this large thing. Because one thing that I will say is you don't want to be in a situation where you are playing both sides of a fight around the players and it's like eating up a lot of the time at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, you know, it could get boring just watching players basically just watching you roll dice against yourself. So that's why I would like turn it into like scenes in the fight that they're sort of weaving through.
Okay.
All right, buddy. That's what I think.
Okay, I have one more question.
Sure.
So my players have been like getting good equipment and stuff. Is there
Mhm.
like a way to make the villain like take away their equipment without it seeming like it's just like a DM's whim or something like that?
Is it a DM's whim or is there a story reason to do it?
Just kind of like they fall into a trap, kind of, and their
No.
equipment,
You're
like,
misunderstanding
if
my
they don't
question.
roll-
You're misunderstanding my question.
Oh.
Why do you want to take away their weapons?
They're kind of rushing through everything. I don't think I made everything hard enough.
Then I wouldn't take away their weapons. I would make things harder. Don't punish
Alright.
them for accidentally making them too powerful.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. That was Lord Grimm. Next is Crazy Moose. Guys, there's not that many people in the waiting room. There's only 5. So if you want to come join and try to be on the stream, you most likely will. I'll probably get to you. So you should come on. All right, let's get Big Brain. Hey, Big Brain, what's up? How's it going, Big Brain? Big Brain, you're muted. Big Brain, I'm gonna hang up on you.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I was lost in the queue.
That's okay. Welcome. How can I help you?
Okay. I was thinking, how much should I prep for my NPCs?
For your what?
NPCs.
You should prep enough to be ready for them to have a conversation. I would give them all. This is what I would do for NPCs. I think that if you have important NPCs, you want to know why they're important. What information do they hold that's important? Do they have, like, what are, like, some things that they will talk about? Do they have things they care about, things they're afraid of, things that make them upset or angry? that are all story sort of relevant. And then like sort of what they look like, if they have any unique features, a little bit about their voice, if that helps, but I don't think you need a great deal more than that. I don't know. It depends on how much you improv, but I sort of feel like the best way for me to play an NPC is to have the important beats, and they're usually what they're afraid of, what they love, and like what they want. And then just sort of, improving off of those once I have a little bit of a voice or something like that to go off of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think you need much more than that.
Yeah.
Art can help a lot also. In a weird sort of way, oftentimes, especially for my home games, I will find a piece of art to inspire an NPC, and even if I don't share that art with the players, having it in front of me does a weird amount of the prep work for me, where it's like I know exactly what they look like. I can just describe the picture I'm looking at, and you can kind of get a sense of how they carry themselves and maybe even how you want to role play them based on it. It's not a bad idea. A lot of my notes when I have an NPC, I'll have their name, and I won't even write anything. I'll just literally have like a JPEG of the picture of what I think they look like. So I would encourage trying that if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank
All right. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, buddy. Click. The tax collector asks, I forgot to ask. Well, also, thank you for the 10, tax collector. I forgot to ask, but I am making my first homebrew race. Very cool. And I have a question. Is +2 to strength and +1 to dex and to con too strong? It's for a race that's supposed to be magically augmented humans. I would not give them four ability attributes. If you want to give them plus to strength, dex, and con, just make it 1 in each. The only race that gets actually, I think there might be more than one at this point, but the one that I make reference to usually is one of the dwarves gets 4 ASI, and it gets that because it basically, that's all it gets. It gets very little else. Half elf gets it too, but in the same sort of way where it's like they don't get anything else cool. So I would encourage you to not give them 4 ASI unless the 4 ASI is pretty much the only thing you're going to give them. Which is why I would vote against it, because I like giving stuff weird stuff. All right, next we have Crazy Moose and then Matt Thorne. And if you want to hop in the call, here. Hey, Crazy Moose, what's up, buddy?
I'm doing great. I was about to mic check Adrian.
Adrian.
Anyway, I had a quick question. Quick question.
Sure.
All right. So recent events in the campaign found me being a bit at odds with another player, and
okay.
Not for any game reason, but rather a basic understanding reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of a game reason, but also a basic understanding reason. How do you deal with people who play the game who don't seem to understand that it's a group fun activity?
And okay, just to clarify, you are a player and this is another player. Yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you... And does your Dungeon Master have a sense of this as an issue?
Oh, they definitely did. I was just wondering, because like this is an issue that comes up in my games as well, and I was like looking at it and like, I should probably ask about this.
So here's what I would do. I think there's a couple ways to go about it, and a lot of the time it's going to depend on the person and the way that they respond to things, or like where their headspace is at. If they are a power gamer or somebody that is like desperately trying to win D&D and they want to be the strongest and the biggest and all of that, then the way that I would approach that person, and I've done this before because I've had players like that before, where I've literally just showed them how much more powerful combining what 2 character abilities are together is than anything a character can do by themselves. Like, if you pair a wizard and a paladin, that is infinitely stronger than a wizard or a paladin. No matter what, there's no circumstance where that's not true. And I don't even mean necessarily just from an action economy perspective. Like, very clearly being like with the paladin, for example, be like, hey, you want to make sure your wizard is able to get the item that makes their spell attack modifier have +1. Like, sure, it would be nice for you to have it too, but if they have it, then that hold person is going to work, and then you are going to be able to smite on that hold person. Or that's usually the main thing I do, is I basically try to point out how literally the game is designed for you guys to be stronger when you are actively working together. If it's more of like a narrative thing where they're just taking up a lot of space at the table and it's not really like in combat type stuff, it's just everything, then usually if I'm the dungeon master, I will say, hey, and I won't do this in game, by the way, I'll do this outside of game. So like most of the time when there's like a real conflict that needs to be addressed, I think the best way to address it is not in the moment, because you don't want to be facing it when emotions are high. When emotions are high, everyone's defensive, everyone's ready to give a rebuttal. But if you go to your friend when emotions aren't high, and you can do this as the dungeon master or as the player, the tone will be a little different, but you'll see what I mean. And you say, it's like Saturday and you don't have a game till like Wednesday, and you just call up Jojo Banana Pants and you say, hey, Jojo, I wanted to talk to you about something. In the game recently, first of all, this is what you say. You say, I want to talk about something. And you start with this. You say, I love our D&D game. Your character is a lot of fun. It is fun to play D&D with you. Lately, I've been having a hard time feeling like there's space for me at the table, and I want you to help me feel like I can have space at the table. I would like your help to feel like that. And if you phrase it in that sort of way, where you're not really saying, hey, you take up too much space, you're saying like, hey, can you help me have more space? It will make it more of a thing where they're not feeling attacked. They're feeling like, oh, I can be a good friend in this moment. And that can kind of change the tone and the vibe. That's for sort of player to player. And if I was having this conversation as a dungeon master, I would kind of say the same thing, but less directed at myself. And I would say something like, I want to make sure everyone has space at the table. And I think that some of the people we're playing with are not as good at asking for that space in the way that they play. They're just a little quieter, things like that. So because you are one of the most, you are one of the, the leaders or one of the stronger voices at the table, can you help me to make sure that that everyone's character is having moments? And it's like, if you feel like this person hasn't talked that much in the game and maybe they want to, we can direct some energy at them, and that will help if it's coming from the players and the dungeon master. So in a weird sort of way, you're sort of asking them to stop by asking them to help you solve the problem, even though the problem is coming from them. Does that make sense?
Yes. That kind of touches on a lot of things that kind of go around issue that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically, we're kind of in a session 0 right now. We're all just role playing. No dice have been rolled officially yet. Session 1 has not happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going on is apparently this player went. The player's not in the campaign anymore. But what happened was the player was one of those weird kind of rules lawyers that you get on occasion,
Mm-hmm.
where you give them an inch and all of a sudden they want to take a mile.
Do you have a specific example of something that happened, or was it more of a general thing?
I do actually have a specific example.
Give me a specific example.
All right, so the GM included a lot of homebrew that he had checked and balanced, and he included that and said, hey, if you guys want, y'all can have this homebrew. All right? And he would always ask the group to approve the homebrew, and he would check it first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't in the mood to check every single thing that people put forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy pulled out to me it looked like a GM tool,
Mm-hmm.
a race creation guide, right? I was like, hey, can I make my own race? I want to have the ability to be ethereal or incorporeal. And the GM said no, and he kept arguing the point for the better part of 12 hours over text.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting there do you not understand that this is a group fun game?
So
and that the GM has to have fun too? And how do I deal with people who don't understand?
Okay. That helps me so much. I think all of the advice that I just said is good advice that you should follow when you need more nuance, but this situation does not call for nuance. This calls for direct action. If a player is so First of all, I just got mad listening to that story. I don't know if you heard my voice change, but I felt that. So the goal oh my God, I need to calm down. That made me so frustrated. Okay, so what I would say is if I were you in that checks chain and I was talking to that person and I was player, this is literally what I would say. I would say, yo, whatever your name is, the dungeon master said this. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a whiny guy. Calm down. He said no. He's the dungeon master. I would just say that. I would just be like aggressively in supporting of the dungeon master. And then if the player was like, but he said we could make anything, so now that we can't make anything, why is he flip-flopping on the rules? I would say, because he's trying to cater the game to be fun. He's not accounting for every single thing because he's not assuming that you're trying to take advantage. He's assuming that you're trying to play a game with your friends. And as soon as you push those boundaries, you need to be willing for him to say, these are the boundaries, because you are actively pushing those boundaries. And if you can't acknowledge that, I'm going to take a piece of corn, I'm going to shove it so far up your nose that popcorn comes out of your ears. Maybe don't say that last part. That last part is a little bit much. But that's what I would say. I would defend the dungeon master's call. I would defend and support the dungeon master's call. And if I was the dungeon master in that situation, I would say, you have two choices. You can accept this, and you can accept the reasoning that I've put forth for why I've made this decision, or you cannot play, because I'm not going to waste any more time on this conversation. And I would just end it. 12 hours is crazy part. That's crazy person time. So that's what I would say. That's a little bit more specific. Does that help at all? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened. I was just like, is there some way to like instill the concept that this is a group fun game and people who don't understand this is a group fun game? Like, yeah, it's like I want to like be able to talk to people and not have to do that. I get it. That's justified. But like, there's a part of me that also goes, I really just want to explain to this person that this game is not just for that.
I mean, you can, and I would. I mean, that's sort of the point. That's what most of the stuff I said initially was sort of that, just to sort of reframe it as like a, hey, just so you know, like this game is about all of us working together to have. I would just say it like that. This is not about us being the strongest. This is all of us having fun together playing this game. Dungeon Master Fancy Pants is also part of the game. If these are the rules that they want them to be, we got to respect those rules. But if you have had all those conversations and you've said all that and they're still arguing, at a certain point, you just got to say goodbye. You just got to say, I'm done with this conversation. Because otherwise, you're just feeding the imp. And you should never feed the imp unless it's your own imp. And even then, you got to feed it like just a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm not going to take up your time. You go ahead and hang up on me now.
All right, Crazy. You're wonderful. Thank you, buddy. That was Crazy Moose. Champion of the stream. Our biggest gift giver of the stream. Seconded only by Tredozio. Okay, let's look at... we got a question from Snotty Man. There was a situation at my table that caused one of the players to argue the semantics and mechanics for 30 minutes. We tried to talk him down, but he kept at it. What's the best way to handle that? The best way to handle that is for everybody to... One of two things. One, basically what I just said. For the Dungeon Master to say, hey, I hear that you want to argue about this, but we're not done. We're done arguing about it right now. This is my decision, and we can talk about it after if you want, or you can play the game. If you're going to be pouty and not play, then don't play. But the rest of us, the four of us that are okay with playing this because it's a game, we're going to keep having fun together. So we're done with this conversation. And you kind of have to just do that. I wouldn't, yeah, there's no reason to have an argument for 30 minutes about the semantics of anything in the middle of a game. That's obscene and stupid. That's genuinely a waste of everyone's time, including the arguer. Let me grab Matt Thorne, and then we are gonna have Emperor Dult. And if you want to call in, there's the instructions right there. Next is Matt. Let me grab Matt. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hi.
How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, fun. I have just like a quick question, like your opinion on a mechanic.
Yeah, sure.
I was trying to make a ranger, and I was trying to specifically encourage them to like target single creature. And I was thinking, is it too weak if I make their like extra die trigger after like the second time they injure a creature on a turn?
The only issue with that is it is something that they wouldn't have access to it till 5th level, so it wouldn't be a feature until 5th level. Yeah, but that's like I wouldn't want to pigeonhole that specific of a play style unless, okay, the only way that I would do that would be is if the other third level features also tied into dual wielding in a way where it was like, this is so clearly intended to be a dual wielding fighter or dual wielding ranger that it's okay for their extra damage thing to be tied to it. Because if that wasn't the case, I think it's sort of just a non-feature. So that's what I would say. I would say, like, a circumstance where I think that would make sense would be is if you built it in such a way where it's like, when you become this ranger at this level, you gain the ability to summon 2 thorn ether short swords that are like a part of you, which like literally it's like part of your character is being a dual wielder. I don't think you need to do that specifically.
Pretty much a dual wielder.
Yeah, you have to build the rest of it in such a way that it really is easy and obvious that this is a dual wielder, and it's otherwise people are going to be like, this feature doesn't work till 5th level. But I think that can work really well if you just build it right.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, that's not really the theme.
Then I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do it.
Yes. Do you have anything that could work? As like encourage targeting one creature?
You could make it so you can do more damage the first time you hit them on the next turn.
Excuse me, what?
You could make it so you deal extra damage the first time you hit that creature on subsequent turns. So I hit you once on this turn, and you're marked. Yes. And then the next turn I hit you, and then it does more. Something like that.
If you hit them the last turn as well, or like cast a spell on them or anything, then you get the bonus.
Yeah, something like that.
In that case be... I think the highest they usually go is like a D8 or something. It's like a D10 or D12 in that case.
I would probably not make it go too much. I probably wouldn't make it a D10. I'd probably still keep it a D8. But you could make it a D10 that it becomes a D8 later. I think that would be the way to do it. Or a D8 that becomes a D12 later. Or a D8 that becomes 2D8 later. Actually, would probably be fine too.
Okay, I think I'll keep it at D8 in that case.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a fun idea.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Yeah, no problem. See you later. Click. Oh, you hung up on me first. Rex with the 20. Thank you, Rex. Very generous. Party at the tavern, everyone. Fight round on me. I hope I can catch a spot later, but there's always next time. Anybody have a favorite monster meat? Mine's owlbear. I have to be honest, dude. This is going to sound so weird, and I'm so sorry because I know you're not going to think. Roper is not bad. Roper, if you crack that shell open, you get in there, you get some Old Bay. Woo! The thing about roper meat is if you can crack them off of the walls, they're kind of like big barnacles. You can actually just boil them upside down, and then you scoop out the bottom, and you put in Old Bay, maybe a little bit of Cajun spices and stuff, and it sort of becomes like a stew. And then the container of the stew is the actual stone shell of the roper. Really good. Really good. Thank you again for the 20. Very generous of you. I'm not sure if we'll get to you tonight or not. I only am going to be doing this for about another half hour because we are actually going to be switching to a different live stream in a half hour, another show that I'm on. If you want to ask questions on that show, there's a Google form in the thing down here. There's also a Google form down here for the homebrew review of next week, or Sunday, because I forgot to post it before because I'm a fucking idiot. All right, let's do... Everyone owes Derek a big thank you for reminding me to do that. Next, we're going to have Emperor Do It, and then Rob Tom Brand. Let's get Emperor Do It in here. Hello, Emperor. How are you?
Oh, hello.
How's it going?
I'm good. So my question is, how do you get inspired for a character backstory? Because I've been struggling with making my backup character.
I take inspiration for my characters from 2 places. One is I usually ask my dungeon master a lot of questions about the game world until I find a part of it that I am excited by or I think is weird or mysterious, because I like making characters that are weird. So if I find out that there's a weird cult or something, I'm like, all right, maybe I want to be from that. So one of the best places, for my opinion, is from fragmented lore in your game master's world, and then you can kind of work with your game master to like build some of that lore out with your character, and then your character can almost be the way the dungeon master is able to start infusing that part of their game world lore into the game. So it's almost makes it, if you do it right, the game master will be like eager to work with you to build up backstory and stuff and to like put it into the campaign, because it's like a window into a part of the world they haven't gotten to explore yet. A lot of my world building comes from working with players and making their character. Then the other thing that I would say is I also am very much a mechanics first builder. I can't help it, but I am. If I have an idea for a character, it almost always comes from looking at the mechanics first. So one of the ways that I do character making up characters is I literally just like I just read subclasses. I know what they all, I don't know what they all do, but I know a lot of them do. But I'll just like almost like the way that when you're like a little kid and you would like hold action figures while you're watching a TV show and you're sort of playing with them, but you're sort of just holding them. That is what I do with my books. And I just like sit and I think about Fey Wanderers for a while. I think about the Fey Wanderer Ranger, and then I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's like it's hitting stuff with psychic damage. It's like moving charms and frightens around. So it's like, yeah, it's Fey. But what if it's not Fey? Like, what else could that be? It almost is like a hag or like a beguiler. Like there's an element of like psionics going on there too. And that's sort of where I'd come from. And then I just mix that with whatever, whatever the dungeon master or the campaign is that I'm playing in. But, yeah.
Right. Because I'm trying to make, like, a crossbow-heavy character, like, almost gunslinger kind.
Do you want them to be? Do you want them to be magical or no?
Yeah, I'm taking artificer and fighter.
Okay.
So I can get the repeating shot infusion.
Cool.
Which is why I'm trying to make it like gunslinger-esque.
Yeah, so you're trying to be like a steampunk gunslinger, magic tinkerer.
With it is I'm in Forgotten Realms, so it's not really.
Why is that a problem? Who cares?
I haven't really. This is my like first campaign I'm playing, and this is my backup character. I've got just a normal standard Oath of Devotion paladin. It's my first.
So
I got the backstory for that.
Is the concern that there aren't a lot of artificers or guns in the Forgotten Realms, so it'll be weird?
Yes.
That shouldn't be a concern. You are an artificer. You could have invented your own gun. Sure, it's weird, but that's cool.
That's a good way to think about it.
Like, you don't need to have a gun maker and if that's something you're concerned about with the dungeon master, if you're like, I want to be this character, but maybe they're going to make it really hard for me to use my stuff. Just talk to them. Just be like, hey, I have this idea for a character that like invented a gun. And I'm thinking going artificer fighter, and sort of explain how you're building it out. And maybe the dungeon master will be like, you know what, that's really cool. I haven't thought about artificers much. So sure, let's say artificers are kind of like these pocket mad scientists that are like building, revolutionary new machines and things. And you are one of those. And maybe you know other ones, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just like a crazy guy in your own little shack building something. But that's how I would do it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, man, no problem. For sure. Click. All right, next is Adrian. No, next is not Adrian. I'm so sorry. Next is Rob Tombrand, and then Adrian. Hello, Rob Tombrand. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Cinder. How are you doing?
Oh, I am a wonderful man today. How can I help you?
Awesome. So I am running Curse of Strahd with my players. We've been running for about 2 years now. And I think I probably just dumped too much stuff into it. I added some stuff from Van Richten's guide. I tailored special quests for each of the players, but now we're at the part where they are literally right about to face Strahd, and already we're getting like player fatigue. Half the party doesn't even want to, I guess, keep going. They're like, this campaign's too dark. It feels like everything is just depressive. And I'm like, well, that's Strahd. So I'm just trying to get advice on how to make a really good, compelling conclusion without like rushing everything, but also kind of tying things up without feeling so beholden to what I've made.
How many more sessions do you need to finish the game?
So I was gonna try for like 1 or 2. I feel like I can do it in 1 or 2, but
are they at Strahd's castle?
Yes.
If you're in a hard spot, because it sounds like you're so close. If you were closer to the middle, I'd say like Curse of Strahd does not need to be dark. I mean, it can have dark moments, but it can also be very silly. And I would start leaning into infusing silly in also, because Grimdark is some of the best place for silly stuff, in my opinion. But if you're so close to the end, honestly, man, I kind of feel like you got to kind of say to the players, hey, I want to have a conclusion to this. I want your characters to get to have a conclusion. I think we can end this in 2 sessions. Let's end it in 2 sessions, and I am gonna try to make sure that these last 2 sessions aren't too grimdark, and that like we have like satisfying endings for all the characters. And then you have to live up to that, which means that you can't be like, and you know, like everyone should have their happy ending. They should have some ownership over the end of the story then, because if you're just running a grimdark campaign and you're committed to it being grimdark and they're tired of grimdark, then I wouldn't play it.
Yeah, I mean, I have added levity to it. Like we definitely laughed. We've had a couple players who are jokesters, but I think they were saying they expected a more kind of traditional, and they just didn't realize like, oh, we didn't know everywhere we'd go would be, you know, oh, Strahd's been oppressive and it's been tough. And I'm
yeah,
like,
but you're sort of past that at this point. If you're at Strahd's castle and you're at the end, like they're not going anywhere else. That's the end of the game is Strahd's castle. Spoiler alert. So like I don't know if that's a problem to solve anymore because you're past that point. Like they're not going traveling anymore. They've visited Barovia. They've gone through Barovia. They're done with Barovia. So you just sort of have to decide to ask them if they want to do the last bit and be like, hey guys, just so you know, the end of this is basically a big crazy dungeon crawl / fighting really strange colorful characters. Do you want to do that? And if they say, yeah, we're down, then do that and let them be heroic. Let them have cool, fun moments. And if they don't want to, then don't worry about it. D&D where people don't want to be there is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, I do think you're a little bit too deep in to, like, change the vibe, you know?
Definitely. It's one of those, like, it was, I think they waited either probably at my benefit, like to not say anything. Like now we're near the end. They're like, oh, is it almost over? We're just getting a little like, oh, okay. I didn't even know.
Yeah. That's all right. What you can do in the future to prevent that is check in with your players. One of the most important things I think in terms of, you know, almost as important as having a session 0 is having like decompression time with your players, having like a, you know, post-session breakdown. Hey guys, what are things that you liked about this session? What are the things that other players did that you think were cool? What are some things that you'd like to see more of in the future? Like that's such a valuable tool for you as a dungeon master. And I think that if you start doing that, you will very quickly not bump into those sort of issues anymore.
Yeah. I've been doing the session 0. I didn't even think about like follow up, but it's definitely something I'm gonna. So you think after every session do that, or like just check in every couple?
It's kind of your call if you have time. I'll say that in one of my D&D groups we don't do that at all, but it's like it is the most casual game ever. It's basically D&D video game plus Animaniacs. Like it's very goofy, so it doesn't really matter. Everyone's just having a good time. And in my more serious games and in the podcast that I'm in, every session ends with us when we're done recording. Everyone goes in a circle and says one thing that they thought that their character did or they did that they thought was cool. One thing that another character did that they thought was cool. And then the dungeon master very regularly, I would say maybe every 3 or 4 sessions, checks in with us and just be like, hey, I wanted to make sure like everything that you want your character to be doing is happening, and that like I want to know if there's like things you want to do in the future. So like any sort of like, it doesn't need to be every single session, but regular check-ins I think is pretty healthy for any relationship, especially a D&D one.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, man, no problem. And if I can give you one more piece of advice before I hang up on you.
Of course.
If they decide that they don't want to play anymore and they want to just be done with Curse of Strahd, don't let that upset you too much and don't take that too much to heart. Like, everybody has D&D games that go well. Everyone has D&D games that go poorly. It isn't really it's not really a good reflection or an accurate reflection on like your skill as a dungeon master or even the player's desire to play with you. So what I would say is just be open to whatever they want to do. And if they don't want to play this game anymore, that doesn't mean they don't want to play any games anymore. And there is always more D&D to be played. So don't be too upset if they're just ready to be done. I would not consider that like a failure. Okay?
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
sure. All right, buddy. See ya. Click, and then we hang up on them. We give them nice feelings, and then we hang up on them because we love you, but at a distance. All right, next is Adrian and then Sovern. Hey, Adrian, what's up? Adrian.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, not gonna lie.
Oh, I'm so
enjoying
glad.
the evening.
I'm so glad. What time is it where you are?
It's almost 1 a.m.
Ah, good morning.
Well, thank you.
What can I do for you today?
So here's the thing. I went like I don't know if you remember, but I went with your advice, and I finally managed to buy all of the books. So I have
cool.
the Tasha's Cloudron, I have the Xanatar, and I have the Monsters of the Multiverse.
Those are good books.
Yeah, actually, I really like those.
Those
So
are
the
those
thing
are like
is,
the 3 best ones. Yeah.
The thing is that I'm running a campaign. I'm running the old campaign, but this time I'm running this for the group of my Polish friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have this group, and they started playing, and it was pretty fun. They got like the first session, they got high and drunk.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun. I had to actually roll for like random stats, and one of the guys.
That's the best. That's the best. I love moments like that. Yeah.
So, in any case, one of our players is a bard, and he's like my close friend because we know each other for a long time, blah, 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 blah. But he wanted to play a chaotic evil. I said to him that maybe it's not a good idea because from what I've learned so far, I know that chaotic evil characters are very difficult to pull off.
Well, I think it really depends on what he means when he says he wants to be chaotic evil, because I think that alignment. This is what I would say. I don't think you should think about your character in terms of what alignment they have. I think you should think about what alignment your character is based on how they act. So chaotic evil could mean you just run around and kill everything. But that's not really chaotic evil. That's just stupid crazy person, which is not chaotic evil. Chaotic evil, in order for a chaotic evil character to work, they have to be the smartest person in the room. That's the only way a chaotic character works. So I will give you an example. I played a chaotic character evil in a Curse of Strahd campaign, and I was a sorcerer. And the way that I played them was they had a very singular goal. They wanted to take over the world. They wanted to kill Strahd and become the new Strahd. That was their personal goal. Now, that being said, they were not a crazy person and they were not dumb. If they were by themselves and a little kid ran up to them and said, "Please, sir, will you help me?" they would probably kill that little kid. But that's because that would be no consequence there. It's like, we're alone in an alley. I'm a super powerful magic dude. Go fuck yourself, little kid. But if I'm with the party, I know that the most powerful tools I have, the most powerful weapons I have, are not my spellcasting, it's the party. So in order to be able to become the supervillain that I want to be, I need to make sure that my party members are as happy as they can be and that they want to help me. So I spent a lot of the campaign basically being the most helpful character to the party that I could be. I was horrible to everything else, unless it would have gotten in the way of the party members getting what they needed. But random people I'd never cared about, I was very heartless. But if it was a character that one of my players, but if it was an NPC that another player cared about, or it was an NPC that we needed for something, or it was basically anything the other players wanted, I would go out of my way to be like protective of it. And it was for a very psychopathic goal of like, you're a tool and me helping you sharpens the tool. But that's what I would say. So they shouldn't think about it like chaotic evil. They should decide what sort of evil character they want to be, where they can be effective at being evil. And being effective at being evil in D&D means being evil while not getting in the way of the party.
Okay. So the thing about being evil is that like the first thing he pretty much did, the first NPC he met, it was a farmer, and he was living alone in the house, so he used the opportunity to kill the guy, check the house, he didn't find anything interesting, so he burned the house down. Just to like cover the tracks.
I mean, that's kind of legit. I'm okay with that. I would argue that it's like if they do that in every instance, then it's boring and that's not an interesting character. But if like that's a scene they wanted to do to like introduce their character as like a scary sociopath, I think that's fine. I would just say that is very different than killing a tavern owner in a village that even has a couple hundred people in it. Like killing a random farmer who's alone in the woods is kind of consequenceless. But killing a farm, but if killing a farmer that is there's another farm next door that could have consequences. So I think they just need to. I would just encourage them to, as a player, be like, make sure that you are not being stupid in terms of the things that you do, and make sure that you're not doing things that are going to upset your other party members. That's what I would say.
Like the one thing that I'm sure about is that if they will go like he wants to kill stuff, okay, I'm okay with that. You can do that as long as you're being smart about it, because if you're gonna be stupid about it, there are going to be consequences coming right up. And like from what I've talked about, like 2 last questions, because like I agreed with him and I gave him like a homebrew rule. The rule is that if he's drunk, he has +2 to all of his like ability checks.
That's pretty strong.
If he's drunk, and he has -2 to his perception, but he has to be very very careful about it, because like after 2 or 3 bottles, he has to roll for the status of being drunk.
That's funny. Yeah, that sounds fun. I like that kind of stuff. I've had players who had like weird things where they like want to be allergic to some side of magic and stuff like that. I like those kind of things. That's fun.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, if he's sober, he has -2.
That's funny. That's hectic.
And the last thing is that, like, I talked with his friend, and he said, like, at some point, he said that he may want to kill the party. Like,
I wouldn't do that. I would just say no. I would just say and that's not. I would say that will not be. You have the only way I would ever be comfortable with a player character deciding that they wanted to kill the party would be for them as a player to want to lose that fight. If they would go into that knowing like this will be a fun thing where it's like I become bad and then the players kill me and defeat me, that would be a cool plot point and a cool way to make a new character. But I would not ever have that be a actual goal of a character. That's a bad idea. That's just not. Okay. That's just not what D&D is for. I just wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, I was like, okay, dude, maybe like let's play for now. We will see. But I wasn't.
I would just nip it in the bud. I would be like, if you start to do this with your character, I'm just gonna stop you. And maybe you don't need to say it that roughly, but like, unless all of the players really like that idea, it's a bad idea.
Okay.
And you kind of need to get, like, express permission. Like, it couldn't be like he surprises them. It would need to be like the players are like, I am okay with you becoming the bad guy later. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
I already prepared an elaborated plan about this. If he will kill one of the party members, I'm just gonna set like 50 black dragons.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's not. First of all, that's genuinely not a solution, because that player is still gonna be upset who lost their character, and then he is gonna feel like he did something cool because it made some really cool thing happen. So he's just gonna keep playing that way. He's just gonna do that again with his next character. I would just stop him. Okay. You should never punish a character for something that a player is doing.
Actually, that was more of a joke.
Oh, okay.
Like what I said.
I know, but I don't want anyone out there to try that shit and end up fucking up their game.
Would love to see that, though.
Yeah.
So,
all right, buddy.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening and enjoy.
All right, see ya. That was Adrian. Crazy Moose says, treat the party like employees on your payroll. They are the most effective with a 401k, dental, and positive work environment. Yes, guys, I have to pee really badly. I am going to be right back. Give me 1 second. Oops, that's the wrong screen. Here it is. 1 second. I'm going to go pee. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'm back. That was so fast. Oh, I'm out of breath. All right. Hi, guys. All right, next we have Sovereign. Keep in mind we are going to be doing a different thing in a little bit, but that's okay. Let me grab Sovereign. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Oh, mighty Sovereign.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Today, I'm going pretty well, but today I actually have a question that's about an NPC and not explicitly like a general problem.
Sure.
Alright, let me get it. Alright. Today I have a question relating to an NPC I'm planning on adding to my game. They are a powerful enchantress. And since in the last stream you said NPCs should provide something useful to the players, I was...
Oh, Sovereign, you're cutting out, buddy. Sovereign, I'm losing you.
No.
I can't hear you. I heard you say no. Are you there?
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening. You're cutting out. Oh, now you're muted. Uh-oh.
Alright, can you hear me now?
I can. So you have a powerful NPC. You want her to be helpful. You muted again. Hello?
I know, I'm just muting myself when I'm not talking.
Okay, cool. So you have a powerful NPC. You want them to be helpful to the party and enchantress. That's all I heard. And then you cut off. Hello? Yes?
Alright, sorry, it's just, my Wi-Fi is not good at all.
That's okay. So continue your question, friendo.
Alright, how would I, give my players enchantments, if at all? Would it just be flavor? Would it be stat increases?
I would
like,
probably...
How do I deal with one of my NPCs giving players enchantments?
This is how I would do it. I would treat them like alternative magic items. So, you know how, like, you can have a potion of giant strength and you drink it and then you have, like, a crazy strength for, like, an hour? Or, like, potion of invisibility where you become invisible for, like, an hour? I would do it like that, except instead of it having be potions, I would have them almost like scrolls, where it's like the enchantress could, like, write an enchantment on a scroll or some form and give it to the players, and then when the players activate it, they get minor bonuses, and I would make those bonuses last a while. So it would be the kind of thing where it's like, if you like an enchantment of stealth, where you get like a +5 to stealth checks for 24 hours, or an enchantment of strength where you get some plus to athletics checks. Like, I would make them essentially not quite as strong as magic potions, but not weak either. And I would probably make them the kind of thing where players could only have like one at a time, and I probably would make them medium expensive, but maybe they could be given as like rewards, but things like that, where it's like there's little stat increases, maybe like a +1 to your AC for 24 hours, or maybe ones that give you special powers, like maybe one that gives you tremor sense for a day or blind sight for a day. You could mess around with stuff like that. So like that's how I would do it. I would essentially make it like, it's almost like they are long form version of buff spells, but they're a little bit weird and unique. That's how I would do it.
Do you think I could easily reflavor that to like them just enchanting their equipment? Because she's like very focused on enchanting armor specifically.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
she could put an
enchant.
Yes.
Has a bunch of animated armor around.
Yeah. I mean, she could even have a thing where she can like engrave a stencil on someone's armor, and then when they activate it, boop, it's on, and then they can just use it, and then after a certain amount of time, it turns off.
How expensive do you think something like that would be?
I would probably not have a price initially. I would probably introduce it as a reward or a gift. And then I would probably, depending on how much gold, I don't know how much you're using gold in your game, but I would probably make them, you know, depending on how powerful you make them, a little bit less expensive than uncommon magic items. Depending on how strong they are. If they're strong, more expensive. But anywhere between like 250 and 500 gold, depending on like, you know, it's really hard to say because everyone does gold different in their games, you know?
Alright. I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so like I would make it so like they couldn't stockpile them. And I would probably encourage you not to sell them initially, just have them as gifts or rewards.
Alright, one Last thing before you kick me out, I was planning on, instead of having this NPC have like a crew of people following her around, she just has a bunch of animated armor and animated swords that fly around her like a tornado.
Yes, perfect. Do it. Give her an animated carriage
Alright,
too.
thank you.
Give her like
an animated boat that just sails across the sky.
Yes. Do it. It's a good idea.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Alright, that's all I have.
Thank you for the call. Click. Rob, thank you for the 20. Jeez Louise, it's me, Rob Tombrand. I knew you'd hang up on me if I complimented you. That's true. But now I get the last laugh by telling... Oh, my God. I have to read it. So I will. But now I get the last laugh by telling you you're one of my favorite D&D YouTubers, and I love all your antics and insights. Stay gold, Pony Boy. Oh, thank you, Rob. That is very, very kind. That is very, very kind. Man, very, very kind. All right, I'm going to pull in Derek. I'm also going to check something here. Let me message. Hey, Derek, don't say anything for a second, Derek. Give me 1 second. Just stay silent. You're going to be so loud, I need to make you quieter. All right, Derek, now you can talk.
Good.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
So my first question is, what is your favorite drink to have during D&D games?
Probably root beer.
Okay. It's a decent choice.
Yeah.
And then second question is I
would say Buch Shutan Yikadesh Khut Sudan.
Alright, thanks, that's all I needed.
Yeah, man. You know, I used to be somebody that liked drinking beer sometimes when I would play D&D. But if I get it makes me get tired. I become a sleepy man. So I don't like to as much anymore. Unless it's like we're in crazy person mode. I'll do crazy person mode. But if I'm like casually drinking, I just get tired. So I sort of have to be a crazy person drinker or a not drinker. And crazy person drinking makes my body hurt when I wake up the next day. All right, let me grab Oz. Hello, Oz.
Hello.
How's it going, bud?
It's really good. Hope you're having fun.
Oh, I'm having a great fun.
All right. So, little bit of a background. We're playing a really gritty game in Shadowfell and in a Dread domain.
Okay, cool.
It is a Gestalt game. Everyone's really high level. And they are trying to get rid of this Shadowborn that's ruling the Dread domain, or get out using a Vistani card, Vistani Travelers, whatever. The worst part is this Shadowborn is one of my old players' PC that have ascended at one point.
That's very cool.
But then because the lore is not really suitable, I didn't let them ascend. So now they're a Shadowborn. This game, if they manage to get rid of this Shadowborn, clear the area, the player can have a player character ascend. But they brought in their girlfriend, and after 1 session, she just dropped out of the game. On about session 4, her character died, and now she wants to come back with her old character. And they're in Shadowfell, so yeah, help.
I think the big problem you made is have her character die off screen. That was your fault. I would not have done that. I don't think it's a good idea to kill off characters if the player is not there. So what I would probably do is I would probably have her character come back as a reborn, if you want it to be lore fixed, where it's like she is an undead version of her character, but let her just be her character. And I would.
But sorry, I interrupted. How can she be a reborn in Shadowfell in a Dread domain?
Because you're the dungeon master and you can decide what happens.
Yeah, that's actually really smart. Okay. Yeah.
Like
you kind of fixed all my problems.
You can have a necromancer that lives in the Shadowfell that is capturing bits of souls before they dissipate into the mist because he's trying to figure out how to make a zombie army, and then she escapes from that and takes over a new body. You know, you can just make something up.
Okay.
Can I point something out to you?
Yeah.
Now, the Harry Potter books, some people love them, some people hate them, but the Harry Potter books, which used to be widely very successful, they do this. They will make a rule, and then they will immediately break that rule, and then they explain how they broke that rule by adding new lore. So if they can do that, you can do that.
That's really good advice. Thank you.
Yeah. Don't ever feel like you feel chopped down. You know, do what you need. Do what you need to get it done.
All right. One small question. I do realize it's my mistake because it all ended up pretty bad. But when do you decide to get a player character and turn it into an NPC?
Only if the player's 100% okay with it, and then only when the story makes sense for it too.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah, man. See you, buddy. All right, guys. Give me 1 second. One second, team. Go ahead first. Okay, let's go grab another caller. Next is Carlos. Hey, Carlos. What's up, buddy? Carlos. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I had to meet your stream real quick.
Yeah,
it's going good.
It gets hectic, man. The double voice, ugh, it melts the brain. What can I do for you today?
Oh, yeah. So, I'm not sure, so I just had to come up with a question. Then I remembered a question I wanted to ask, but I forgot about it. So, like...
So, does that mean I get to ask you a question?
Yes.
What's your favorite DnD monster?
I like dragons.
What color?
I don't know what color, but
do you like metallic dragons more or chromatic dragons? The good ones or the bad ones, or the crystal ones?
I like chromatic.
Okay.
I like mix and match them.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for the answer.
You're welcome.
Love talking to you, Carlos. Have a good one.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, buddy. That was Carlos. Coming in with an answer. Usually we get a question, but we got an answer. Thank you, Carlos. I know people are making. Yeah, that was an interesting question. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. It was not a great question. All right, I guess we'll do another. Confused monkey, come on in. What's up, buddy? He's a monkey. He's confused. He's a confused monkey man. You gotta unmute. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, buddy?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Good. How are you?
Oh, I am wonderful. How can I help you?
All right. So I had a question about my bad. My brain just stopped.
That's okay. Do you want me to sing a song while you wait?
No, I'm good. I'm ready. Okay. So my character is like this super nice, wholesome old guy.
Mhm.
He's also like a spore druid, which kind of has like an evil kind of necromancy feel to it. So I was wondering if you had any advice on characters whose abilities kind of clash with who they are as a person.
Characters who vibe with who they are as a person?
Characters whose abilities kind of clash with who they are as a person.
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind for a spore druid is like a clean freak. Like a person that is like, doesn't want to get dirty. Because the spore druid is all about like rot and decay and fungus and regrowth. If I was going to be a spore druid who clashed with being a spore druid, they would be a germaphobe. And they would like be wanting to be very sterile and almost like reluctantly use their powers.
Yeah. I was thinking like, since my character is so like nice and wholesome and also a spore druid, like those two things kind of clash. So do you have any advice on like kind of connecting those things, or do you think it's like totally fine on its own?
I think it's fine on its own. I mean, I think, like, listen, do you not have clashes in your own life? Do you not ever clash? Listen, if there's one thing I know about being a human being, which I am at least 30% of the time, it's that, one second. It's that, It's that we are contradictory creatures. And if we're going to play characters in D&D that are in any way representative of the existence that we share as people, our characters can be at least a little contradictory. It makes things interesting, you know?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Oftentimes, the best way to make a character nuanced is to actually do that very intentionally, is to be like, I'm going to make a dumb, barbarian, wild man that is obsessed with classical music. You know? And then it's like, suddenly there's a lot of mystery there. It's like, wait a minute. Like, first of all, how do they even learn about classical music? And then it's like, you know, like there's an element of, you can get some weird complexity there. Like, yeah, you can build off of that. So I think it's a good idea. I would do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy. Get out of here. Get home safe. I got to hang up on you. I had the wrong part of Discord open. You might still be in here. Oh, no, you left already. Good. Okay, friends. Friends. Oh, my goodness. Dylan Peterson gifting the 5 subs. Thank you, Dylan. And Benjamin McInnes becoming a pretty cool member. Friggin' cool. 30% seems too high. All right, buddies. Guys, so we are going to transition now into my show with Unbalanced Encounters. So this stream is going to end, and it should reroute you. It should reroute all of us to the Unbalanced Encounters channel, where I will be there very quickly. One second. Let me make sure I'm actually doing this right. On the off chance that it doesn't work, I'm pretty sure it will. But on the off chance that it doesn't work, here's the link. And I am going to be showing up there right now. The stream is not ending. It's just changing shape. We're transforming into a live Q&A stream with the cast of Rally. So, I am going to be going now, though, but I love you. And we are going to head over to there. I think when stream ends, it should go there. But if it doesn't, click those things. Anyway, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow for a homebrew review stream tomorrow night. If you have homebrew you want to submit, the link is in the description of this video right now. It is also up on my Discord. So please submit some homebrew. We only have like 30 submissions so far this week, so we're going to probably get through a lot. So if you have something you want me to look at, submit something. It's in the description of this video, and it is also in my Discord. And I'll post it on the internet probably later today too. But anyway, I love you. Have a good one. We're going to head on over to the other stream. So I'll see you on a bit. Bye.